certain compartmentalized information. There was nothing confining me to only certain compartmentalized information.
To the moon and see a bunch of rocks.
But right now they seem
beyond the believability that all they did was make a trip to the moon and see a bunch of rocks.
But right now they seem.
Truth is you're not going to be a naval intelligence officer unless you are a Freemason or a member of the Ancient Order of the Rose and Cross, but you have to be high degrees for that. I think the reason I was selected as enlisted men is because I had belonged to the Demolay Society.
Which is what?
As a teenager. That's sort of the first level of Freemasonry. That's how they recruit teenagers and indoctrinate them into their principles so that they go right into Freemasonry when they become an adult. I was really an indoctrinated individual, naval security and intelligence, and I was given a secondary NEC, which is Naval Enlisted Code, which was 9545, which is internal security specialist. And an internal security specialist is someone who protects classified information, protects areas, so to speak. Protects classified information.
Yes.
You should get a tape of the closing ceremony. It was heard at night in the UFO.
A spacecraft held by a helicopter.
Well, it wasn't held by a helicopter. There was no helicopter up there holding this thing. They'll tell you that, but it's not true. Can you imagine the liability that they would have if they were carrying this thing suspended on a cable underneath a helicopter over the heads of hundreds of thousands of people? They wouldn't do
You're
it.
meaning to say that thing used in the 1984 Olympics, the closing ceremony,
Was under its own power.
was under its own power?
Yeah.
Something's going to happen here now. Here comes the Now, most of the crowd just beginning to see it now. Oh, it's several hundred feet high still. Trumpets and the lights signaling to the spaceship giving its return signal.
An internal security specialist is someone who protects classified information.
A similar program in the Soviet Union served the same purpose. In fact, a joint alien United States and Soviet Union base already existed on the moon at the very moment Kennedy spoke the words. On May 22, 1962, a space probe landed on Mars and confirmed the existence of an environment which could support long afterward the construction of a colony on the planet Mars began in earnest. Today, there is a colony which exists on the planet Mars. It is a United States-Russian alien facility.
Protects classified information.
I have an obligation to inform the public, and once that's done, I've done my job. If you believe it's outrageous, stick around a few years. There are areas on the moon where plant life grows and even changes color with the seasons. And this seasonal effect is because the moon does not, as claimed, always present the exact same side to the Earth or the sun. There is an area that wobbles in and out of darkness on a seasonal basis, and it is near this area that the plant life grows. The moon does have a few man-made lakes and ponds upon its surface, and clouds have been observed and filmed in its atmosphere. How many of you remember the period of time, several years, when almost every reported alien craft that was reported landed was on or near water and appeared to be pumping water into the craft. Many of you remember that. Quite a few. The water went to the moon, ladies and gentlemen, to change the moon. There's no reason why you or anyone else cannot walk on the surface of the moon or in space in a vacuum without a spacesuit.
Pyramids on the moon, pyramids on Mars, towers, and a Christian cross terracing on Mars. The face on Mars. You're going to see a World War II bomber lying beside a crater
Bill,
on the moon.
that almost every one of the astronauts who went to the moon has seen something.
Mining machines. You're going to see something, a machine in a crater throwing dirt out of the crater over the rim. You're going to see domes.
Is because they fully intend to kill a minimum of 2 billion people by the year 2000.
Sometime in the wee hours of the morning.
You dumb son of a bitch. If you don't straighten things out, you're the dumbest son of a bitch that ever lived. In fact, you may not even live.
So, what are you going to do with somebody like that? We refuse to be intimidated by this guy.
The following are unedited copies of those calls from Cuba, which are on file with the Los Angeles Police Department.
Anybody that comes up here and tries to encroach upon my rights or take away the protection of the Constitution from me and my family is going to get a bullet. And that's just the way it is. They've stepped on their dicks this time. No matter what they do, they lose, and they know it.
Because if they make a martyr out of William Cooper...
Not only that, I'm right within the law. I am right under the Constitution, and I am right within the law. And it's all posted on my website on the internet.
So you're saying you've dotted all your I's, you've crossed all your T's.
Absolutely.
You've drawn your line in the sand.
They lose. They either back down and get within the bounds of the Constitution, they lose.